Getting gender envy from normal things? No. Getting gender envy from the hand in mobile game ads. I can't say I relate, but this just still seems very fair. Because if you know that you get gender euphoria or gender envy from random things. And most of the time, it's really not that deep. Like, it's just a hand in a mobile game ad. Like, no one's saying this is your hand. They're just kind of showing you how to play, and honestly, this kind of hand looks nice, But it's ridiculous, but I can't deny that we've all been there. Hello BabyQueers, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing some egg IRL, because somehow the other trans subreddit has been shut down, I think, a few months ago, so we need some other place for wholesome trans memes, and panicky trans memes, and dysphoria trans memes, because why not? So either way, that's what we're doing today. If you're not hydrated yet, go grab a glass of water, or tea, or whatever else you like to drink. I actually remember to bring my coffee this time. All set? Okay, let's continue with the memes. Will you push this button? There's a 1% chance of getting $1 million and a 99% chance of becoming a girl. I have questions, because will I be comfortable as a girl? Will I like being a girl? Or will I just, look like a normal girl? Because in that case, no. But if I would actually just, feel super comfortable as a girl, I would still absolutely push this button as someone who was assigned female at birth, because I was not comfortable, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be here like this. But listen, if you were to tell me that I could still get, $1 million, or I would just, turn into a girl and be super comfortable and fine with it, then I would still push it. But if you would tell me that nothing about, my mental state basically changes, then I would not risk this. But listen, if you would press this and you're assigned male at birth, and you think that these are good odds, then I have some news for you. What if I just lived exclusively on the internet? That would make being cis easier, I think. It does make a lot of things easier. It doesn't necessarily make being trans easier. But if, once again, you're assigned male at birth, I don't think, if this is what you're picturing in your head, that it's actually gonna make your life being cis easier, because I very much doubt that you're actually as cis as you want to think you are. Because I think you know. I was miserable as a teenager boy, constantly, and I had no idea why. Depression meds didn't help, and therapy didn't help. And this is why representation is important, because same, therapy literally just kind of made it worse, somehow. I think I didn't actually take depression meds when I was a teenager, but nothing helped. Nothing helped. People who are oh well, yeah, teenagers are, of course you're just uncomfortable, of course you're going through a lot. My therapist specifically tried to push it on the fact that when I was in 6th grade, my mom was absent for basically the entire year because she was in and out of the hospital because of something serious, and that's what she tried to push on. I was oh no, that's why you're feeling the way you do. To be fair, I did not make her job easier, because I was super uncomfortable with the whole situation from the start and did not open up to her at all. So of course she couldn't have made a better guess, but still. Sometimes you just gotta give it a few years' time and wait till you figure out why you feel uncomfortable. But if you have representation, you might be able to recognize certain things earlier on and just be able to work on it and feel more comfortable in your skin early on, because you know what's going on in your head, Are you trying to sleep? Yes. A chest dysphoria. You could have just kept it to yourself. You know, just keep it. Just keep the chest dysphoria. Because this kind of works, like, for everyone. This just works for all trans people, because either you're dysphoric about having a chest, or you're dysphoric about not having a chest. Neither of which is a good thing to think about, or to feel in general, but if we're trying to sleep, why would you? Why would you? Just keep it to yourself. We're just trying to sleep. We're not trying to think about the fact that our body doesn't necessarily look the way we want it to look, and just be so uncomfortable with it. Just know, we're not trying to feel that right now, we're trying to sleep. You know, it is impossible for me to be trans. I never had any signs of discomfort with my assigned gender at birth since childhood. It just has to be my autism and or anxiety depression. So I decided to check on my oldest Discord messages from 2017 until 2020 to ultimately prove it. I want to hide my chest. If I could change gender, I would for real. I'm 50% a girl. I'm both a girl and a boy. Yeah, I don't understand girls either. I sometimes feel like a man put in the body of a dork. Forgets own pronouns. Looking too feminine causes me distress. Excusing myself that my life would be way worse if I was born the opposite sex. Distorted sense of gender. I feel like you proved something to yourself. Because even if we don't necessarily, like, understand what, we still have those feelings of, this just feels wrong. But it just feels really shitty if you don't know why. Because then it just feels like you're not trying hard enough, and that maybe if you just, like, try to blend in with your assigned gender, or just, like, do more things that people associate with that gender, you'll feel better and you'll somehow get over this thing in your head. Newsflash, it does not work, in fact. It really doesn't. But I still kind of feel like a lot of people kind of were at least thinking things like these as a teenager, but, like, try to push it down and not think too much of it. You know? Like trans teenagers, not like every teenager. Because, yeah, I mean, sure, people might have a bit of a point, like, a lot of teenagers are kind of uncomfortable with their body, you know? But if it's thoughts like these, on, like, a persistent level, because I feel like a lot of people sometimes, like, wonder, like, if you just, like, randomly talk about it, like, once with your friends of, like, what would it be like if we were, like, born the opposite gender? Like, what would have that, like, been like? If that's, like, a one-time thing, because you're just, like, having a girls' night or whatever, fine. But if it's kind of a persistent and ongoing theme of you wondering what it would have been like, and just trying to, like, get in your head and be like, oh no, but it would have been way worse. Because I did the same thing. I was like, well, it would have been better if I was born a boy. Like, I would probably be the same, right? And I would probably just, like, been just as much of an outcast, which probably is true. Did not relate to people. I don't think it would have been actually better if I was born a boy, but a lot of things probably would have. You know? Either way, if you're constantly having thoughts like these, you might not be as cis as you thought you might be. My trans-masc friend said he's going to try to get me to get a period stimulator in the future. From what I've heard from my assigned female at birth friends, I really shouldn't be looking forward to it. Now, this is one of the things. Like, I'm not even, like, actively trying to be stealth, but I didn't come out at work. I started at this, like, new place almost 2 years ago, like 1.5 years ago. And I never came out because I kind of thought they would catch on and, like, start to question it, and then I didn't come out, like, actively, and now it just seems awkward to come out, like, 2 years later. So this is the thing that gets me in trouble the most, is, like, when people talk about periods, and I'm trying to fight the urge to be like, oh god, no, but tampons were the most annoying thing, but, like, pads were way worse, and, like, I never tried anything else, but I feel you. I'm really trying to fight that urge. But at the same time, I was lucky in the sense, at least, that I really didn't have any cramps, really. You know? And I only had like issues of bleeding so hard I got really dizzy like once or twice, and I had my period since I was 11, I think. Or like shortly before my 12th birthday, I don't know, and then I had it until literally a month after starting T. I got really lucky in that sense, at least. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people who've ever had their periods will still tell you that you shouldn't look forward to it. And I am telling you, you shouldn't look forward to it, even though I never really had cramps to begin with. But still, would I try this still, even though I had my period? I would. Because as much as I can be understanding to be like, well, of course, like other people have it worse. Of course, other people have cramps. I would still kind of want to know what it feels like just for curiosity's sake. And as a trans person, like I said, like we literally opened the video with this. You get gender envy and gender euphoria from the weirdest things. And somehow I feel like you being able to relate to a thing a lot of women experience might actually give you gender euphoria, so from a cis perspective, you really shouldn't look forward to it because it's not like a great thing, so why would you look forward to it? But as a trans person, I kinda get it. When I open the door and say, ladies first, and then enter while my friend is next to me, him, visible confusion, me. Listen, this is just like a funny coming out. Like, I think if you do it once, your friend will just think you're joking, right? You just, like, he'll probably just end up thinking you're trying to be funny. But then if you do it, like, persistently every time you meet this friend, it would be the slowest coming out, probably. Or, like, at least similarly slowest to just, like, start hormones and wait till people notice the changes, which I know some people did. Which also just seems funny to me, who just, like, didn't tell their family they were starting, like, HRT, and then, like, met them, like, a month later for Christmas or a birthday or something, and then just, like, are they starting to look different? Like, with T, changes usually happen fairly fast, so, like, you know, but with estrogen, after a few months, you'll probably notice changes as well. So, it's just, this might be just as slow, though. Someone please do this. I feel like it would not make it less awkward, actually, but it still seems like a pretty fun idea. Me, when I wake up and realize I used to do some very not cis things when I was younger. I used to borrow a lot of femme clothes. Why do I feel like this would have still been me if I was like assigned male at birth? Since I grew up with 3 sisters, I feel like this would have still very much been me if just like when I was home alone, just kind of stealing their clothes and trying them on. I feel like this would have still been me. But that as a boy, like, I feel like if you do it once for like shits and giggles because you think it would be funny, I will let you get away with it. But if this is kind of a common thing of every time you're home alone, even for a few minutes, you kind of like try on heels or whatever, you might just be a drag queen at some point because you realize you really just like dressing up and like using it as like an like creative outlet for fun, or it's actually very, very uncis of you to do these things. Same like the other way around. Obviously, if you're like assigned female at birth and you try on your brother's clothes or your dad's clothes or just ties or draw on a beard with mascara constantly or something when you're home alone, you might not be as cis as you thought you were. Everyone else's transition goals. Pink, feminine, just being pretty. No. My transition goals. Being goth and still pretty. Which is entirely fair. But so is the top. Like, if the top one is your transition goal because you generally just get so much euphoria from dressing really femininely and you really like pink and dresses and like frilly stuff and pretty nails, go off. Go off. But listen, the top one just seems generally fair as well. So, go off, I guess. Are you going to sleep? Yes, I am. Now shut up. You don't feel like a girl 24/7, so you must be cis. I don't think this is how it works. Like, if you don't feel like you're assigned gender at birth, any amount of time really, then you're very much not cis. So brain, keep distorting the fact, stop distorting the facts. Don't keep distorting the fact. That's just rude. Like, again, if you just sometimes once a year wonder if your life would be different because you can't sleep and you're just thinking about random stuff, fine. But if you kind of have moments every day, several times a week, where you just feel like you shouldn't have been your assigned gender at birth, or you feel like you would just be more comfortable or more confident in your body if you were assigned a different gender, then you're probably not a cis, you know? So brain, shut it. Just because you're talking bullshit, not even because we're trying to sleep. If you say these things during the day, it's not better. Stop it. Thinking about when I came out to my parents, my dad was like, so what? I wanted to be a woman really badly for a few years or so. I tried extra hard to be masculine, and it just went away. It just went away? What? Are you seriously out here being like, oh well, no, trans people aren't real, they just need to actually try harder to be their assigned gender at birth and then it'll magically go away? Because again, trust me, most trans people did try this. And newsflash, it really doesn't actually work, so what even? Are you one of those trans people that literally just suppresses it for so long until they're 50, 60, 70, and then realize that they messed up and should have probably thought about transitioning way earlier? Because listen, it's never too late to transition. I'm not coming for it. If you literally just figure out when you're 70 or 80 and you want to transition, go off. My surgeon, when I had my top surgery, literally told me about this patient he had, and he was 85 or something. And he still happily did the surgery because he was like, well, listen, you're kind of late to the party, but that doesn't mean you don't get to join the party, you know? So, but this just, it seems strange somehow to be like, well, no, you just need to ignore it away. It worked for me too. It's oh, yeah, no, if you're having gay thoughts, you just need to suppress those. That's the devil trying to tempt you. You just need to suppress it. I've had thoughts about that too, but I suppressed it, and that's why I'm better, because I suppressed the gay urges. It's giving those vibes somehow. Yeah, I'll try that 7 identities test people keep posting about. Cisgender being the small percentages, with trans and gender fluid as the majority. Oh, this once again has kind of the same vibes of, oh, I'll just do one of the am I gay quiz, or am I a lesbian quiz, am I a bisexual quiz? Because I feel like if you do these, you probably already know. You probably already know that cisgender is going to be a kind of small percentage, you know? Yeah, I think you knew. Me questioning if I'm trans or cis for the billionth time. Oh, I know. I'll make a list of evidence for me being trans and evidence for me being cis. The cis list filled up nearly half a page, and I didn't even have to write that big. Wait, the trans list filled up over 2 pages, and I wrote super small in order for it to fit? Huh, I wonder what this means. I wonder what the list was. They didn't include the list, which is fair, because it's obviously going to be something very personal, and especially if you're not out to anyone, because you're not even ready really to admit it to yourself. But I'm still kind of curious what was on the list. And I kind of feel like I did the same thing at some point. I don't think I have it anymore, but I think I kind of did the same thing. With several things, really, but I also did it with gender. But I'm still curious what was on the list. What did you write on it? Just oh yeah, no, but I feel comfortable as my assigned gender sometimes. I really like hanging out with my friends who are the same gender. Is that what's on the still sister list, or what? I'm really curious, actually. When you realize that testosterone can change your voice, but estrogen can't. Trans femme people, this is outrageous. This is unfair. This actually really just seems unfair. I'll agree with you. I'm not a trans femme, but I will just agree with you, because it really seems unfair that testosterone can permanently change your vocal cords while estrogen can't. That seems really rude, actually. It seems really unfair. And like, I thought it was fake the first time I heard this years ago, and I was like, what? No, that can't be right. But it is. And it's really rude. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. It literally it is unfair. I don't know what else to say about this. Me accepting myself. But what if I'm wrong? I think it was OT who said this. If you think you might be faking it, you're probably not. Because if you're faking it, you're gonna be like so far gone, really, that you're just constantly convinced you're right. Right? But if you're kind of questioning it and wondering if you actually are trans or if you actually are bisexual or whatever, then chances are you just are. And it's just because it's different from what people tell you your entire life you're going to be or what you have to be, because people like pushing this of, oh, do you have a boyfriend or do you have a girlfriend, to like literal toddlers, you know, whenever they like even look at the other gender or something. That's kind of the narrative that's like in your head from the day you're born, basically, that it can be kind of difficult to accept. But the thing is, if you never have question, like if people all your life tell you as a boy, oh well, you're a boy, you probably like playing outside and whatever and playing football, and you're gonna find a pretty girl one day and marry her, and that never seems off to you, then you have no reason to question it, because you're like, well, yeah, no, girls are pretty, I like girls, and yeah, of course, I'm just gonna go play football and then drink beer with my friends. If that kind of just like feels natural to you, you have never really actually any reason to question it, and question if you might be trans. So if you constantly wondering if you might be, chances are you are. And that kind of about a lot of things, really. Me being interested in wearing feminine clothes and shaving my body. I really enjoy it, and whatever, I'm probably just a femboy. Trans fan tells me she used to think the same way as me. I realized I felt like this since I was a child, but I kept ignoring it. Okay, listen, I'm not saying having a lot of your friends be trans is a sign you're trans, but queer people tend to flock together, so it might be worth looking into. And yeah, this is why, again, representation is important, but also like having other people who are going through the same thing around, really, because then they're gonna be like, oh yeah, no, same. And luckily with the internet, you don't even necessarily have to have like friends. Like, of course, like it's great to have other trans friends. I'm not coming for it, but if you can't have those people in real life, honestly, looking to people online who share their stories is kind of like the next best thing. Well, actually, online friends will probably be the next best thing. And then, like, other representation online? I don't know. Either way, good luck figuring it out, but yeah, you might very well be trans. Trans girls with beard dysphoria. Laser hair removal, that will be $300. It is so expensive. My god, why is laser hair therapy so expensive? Like, I was friends with a trans girl, and she was actually just fighting her insurance to cover it, but it was so expensive. I don't even remember how much it was in Germany, really, but why is it so expensive? I mean, to be fair, you can say that about pretty much everything nowadays, but kind of getting your first gender for free and then having to pay for the second one seems rude, somehow. Me carefully analyzing my parents' work schedule so I know when they're out of the house and I can wear girly clothes. Still cis though? I hope you're not actually doing this and thinking you're cis. Because yeah, once again, if you're just doing this for fun because you like it as a creative outlet, then yeah, but if you're doing it because it just feels more right, you might not be as cis as you thought. What's up? I just want to be a cute anime girl. I'm walking off. What? I mean, I think you just came out to your friend. Somehow. But actually, hang on, we have a follow-up coming. So you maybe didn't come out to your friend. Your friend is maybe just helping you figure it out because, you know, trans people are people who want to be something other than the gender they were born, right? I don't know much about this, but that sounds kinda correct. Well, I'm probably not trans anyways. I want to be an anime girl rather than an actual girl, you know? So, what exactly is the distinction between the two for you? Yeah, I really think your friend is helping you figure out, because they're just asking the right question somehow, like, they don't know much about trans people, but they're still gonna be accepting and cool, just like try to help you figure it out. Which is just a sign they're a good friend, by the way. But also, what is the difference? Like, why do you, what, I really don't get it either. But if you're kind of, once again, using these kind of things of like, oh no, but I would want to be an anime girl, not a real girl. I want to be like this fictional character, but I don't think I can be like this gender in real life. You might be using it as kind of a way of escapism. I'm not coming for it. Being trans is not easy because other people are transphobic. Like, dysphoria sucks and all, but the actual difficult part of being trans is dealing with other people and dealing with that transphobic bullshit. And, you know, but still, if you're just using this as a way of escapism to kind of ignore the fact that you're trans, also not sure how long that will work. Me, when I keep internally referring to myself as a boy. Okay, look calm. Internally screaming. By the way, I know this was probably posted by a trans femme. And you just like keep internally misgendering yourself, and it sucks, but you're kind of so used to it because people called you a boy all your life and used he and pronouns, so it's just kind of sometimes even difficult for ourselves to move on. But it might have also just been posted by a trans guy who's trying to still be cis though, still one of the girls, but then just like knows he's not and knows he's a boy, and that's why he keeps saying it internally, but he's trying to still be cis though. So honestly, I'm really not sure who posted this. It just kind of seems accurate for both. Yeah, I'm cis and straight. Well, femboys are cute, but I'm mostly straight. Well, I guess I'm bisexual, actually. I want to wear femme outfits. Maybe I'm a femboy too. Wait, I think I'm actually a girl. This just seems like a valid progression. Like, listen, figuring yourself out can kind of be a longer journey. Like, some people just know. Some people somehow just know as a child and have parents who listen. But for some people, or a lot of people probably, it kind of turns into a long road. And like, both is fine, obviously. Listen, if you stop at kind of any of these steps, because you figure out, oh no, this is actually right, like I am actually just a femboy, or oh yeah, no, I am actually bisexual, no one's gonna come for it. But sometimes you just gotta go the full route, you know? Hey, you going to sleep? Yes, now shut up. There's the surgery that makes your bits nothing and smooth. Egg audibly cracks. yeah, I feel like if you're kind of this invested in trans surgeries and want to pretend you're cis, your egg might very well be cracking soon. Just so you know. But yeah, if the feeling of, because like I'm gonna tell you this right now, a lot of cis people are probably not gonna get excited when they found out about these kind of surgeries, or they hear about it, because then they just like picture it on themselves and they're just like, oh god no. Oh god no. I'm telling you, most cis people will not be excited about it. Just know, if you're kind of low-key wishing you're gonna get breast cancer just so someone will take your breasts off of you, you might not be as cis as you think. You know? So, thought you'd want to know. Me, happily going to bed, deciding that I'm a mostly straight guy who just enjoys cute stuff and dressing femme sometimes. Me, having a dream last night that I was a woman being cuddled by a more dominant and older man and loving it. I mean, listen, if it's just in your dream and then you wake up thinking, what the fuck, that was weird. But if you wake up, you still seem like, wait. But that actually seems really nice. Like, I would actually really like that. And then once again, you might not be as cis as you thought. Because sometimes dreams are really just weird. And make no sense. And then you wake up and it's just like, what the fuck? Because you're just kind of trying to process whatever you went through that day, right? Or like the past few days. But if you wake up and you still think that that seems kind of ideal to you, then you're kind of not a mostly straight guy who just enjoys dressing femme sometimes, you know? Anyways, I don't know how many people have their egg cracked every day, but I'm kind of guessing it's a lot. And I know it's sometimes easier to try to keep the eggshells together and just try to pretend to be like, oh no, I'm sure it's nothing. Like, I'm sure I'm just a femboy. You know, I just enjoy dressing femme sometimes. Maybe it's easier in the short term. But trust me, in the long term, it's kind of easier to not fight those voices in your head. You know, speaking from experience at least. Anyways, that was all the memes for today. I'm entirely sure my coffee is actually cold by now because I forgot it. But I'm gonna go drink it anyways. I hope y'all are hydrated too, and I'll be back in a few days with my next video.